Bo Piepen ben outen getucken der Schiepen mit Gräsen der Falken. Budsers de bin de Blumen und sweeten sniffers bin acrossen der Hillseiden gewaten. Bo Piepen ben uppen gekiemen mit Hans der Schiepenbehader. Hans bin smuchet mit der Twitten Taken und sooner bin cuddlen der Fräulein mit Lippen kissen und dreamish promisin'. Ach. I've been to a few Tea Party gatherings recently. They're very lightly attended, maybe a dozen people, maybe less, maybe a couple more. It's not on everybody's mind at the moment, except for those who are truly, you might say, fanatical about the basic principles that brought the members of the Tea Party together into a gathering. And again, see there I'm using the word like it isn't a formal party, like the Democrats or the Republicans. It isn't. There's no place to go join. There's no card you can carry saying you're a member of the Tea Party. It's simply about people. Of all those languages, none of them is more precise and at the same time less precise than American. Trust me, I don't speak English, I speak American. My wife and I love to watch the BBC, and there are times when I need subtitles to understand what those Brits are saying. As a writer, I suppose I was always interested in words, and they're especially important to understand foreign words because so much of our language, especially here in America, has been borrowed from all over the world. So we get into this conundrum of words that can mean many different things depending upon the context in which they're used. Let me give you an example. What is a frog? Yeah, just the simple word frog. I bet you're thinking of a little animal hopping around. You know, I've used this example countless times, and people generally think of that little animal. I don't even think there's been a number 2, but if I were to ask a florist that same question, they might first think of a device used for arranging flowers. If I were to ask a railroad man, they might think first of a metal plate used in a switch in a railroad track. If I were to talk to a dressmaker, they might see clasps used on a tunic or at the collar of a cape. Swordsmen used to wear their scabbards attached to their belt using, you guessed it, a frog. Let me give you another word, a simple word, party. Now, what do you think of? A gathering of people celebrating like a birthday party? Sure, that's valid. But there's also political parties. Now again, they're gatherings of people. So I guess that's what they have in common. Now, are they celebrating? Maybe. Depends upon how the election went. They might be commiserating. That's the nature of politics. One party that arose a few years ago was the Tea Party. Now, it's not like the Republicans and the Democrats or the Libertarians or the Peace and Freedom people or any other party, because they're not really a party. They're just a gathering. That's how the word came to be used. A bunch of people got together, and I think in the beginning just to commiserate. They were commiserating about the course of our nation. Later, they got together more to try and influence the outcomes of elections. Not formally, but just to gather as a crowd. You know, people like to follow a crowd. You see a crowd running down the street, you might get sucked in and see what's all the excitement about, right? Well, that's pretty much what the Tea Party did. And they did it very effectively. Interestingly, the Tea Party was effective by being disorganized. And they still aren't organized, quite honestly. I've been to a couple of their meetings recently, and there's not many people there. Nothing like the thousands you saw in Washington or standing around in street corners during elections. Just a few people who are still, well, their blood's boiled. They're up and ready for a fight, even now. Well, it's going to be interesting to see what happens as Election Day approaches. Yeah, the Tea Party has frightened a lot of politicians, hasn't it? You could hear Nancy Pelosi. Oh my God, that thing scared her to death. But I think it was scaring a lot of other people too, in politics that is, because they couldn't control it. See, politics is about control. It shouldn't be, but in recent years it has become more and more about control. Political parties are trying to divide us and make their side the bigger side so they can win. But that's not the way it was supposed to be, is it? George Washington wasn't the only one of the founders who warned us about political parties, that they would become more concerned with the party than with the country. And it has worked out that way, hasn't it? So don't get blinded by their formal parties. Take your cue from the Tea Party type people. Just get together with your friends. Think about what's best for you and for your community, for your state, for your nation. And participate. Just participate. Don't wait for the November elections. That's too late. You know, we've gone to those elections and we have to hold our noses to vote because the choices stink, don't they? The problem is we haven't been involving ourselves soon enough in the primaries. That's where you got to get out. It's the primaries that will decide the choices we have in November. So please, get involved.